Welcome to Mindful Life. I'm Jill Higgins. In today's episode, I'll consider some of the difficulties you might encounter when you start to meditate and how to build your daily practice. Even after making a conscious decision to learn to meditate and to practice regularly, it's easy to get distracted. You might persuade yourself that you'll come to it later in the day, or that you'll meditate once you've prepared a snack, answered an email, or made a few phone calls. You might find that there's something else that demands your immediate attention. Undoubtedly, building your mindfulness practice requires an element of discipline, as with any new habit. And at the outset, it's worth exploring some of the challenges that you can expect to face in the first few weeks and months and how to overcome them. One of the most common barriers is the feeling that you simply don't have the time to meditate. The irony is, of course, that practicing mindfulness meditation can help you to become more focused, less willing to be distracted, and more time efficient. If you can take just a few minutes to still your body and sit quietly on a regular basis, you'll soon be able to tap into a sense of calm whenever and wherever you need it most. I've practiced mindfulness in locations as diverse as corridors, cars, courtrooms, trains, toilets, and traffic jams. I've practiced in meetings, at mealtimes, during family gatherings, at law conferences, and even when trying to get my daughter to clean her teeth or get into bed. Without mindfulness, my ability to emerge more or less unscathed would have been seriously compromised in some of these situations. So being able to ground yourself quickly marks a real shift in terms of how you can tackle your stress and interact with those around you. My experience has been that mindfulness helps you to repair situations once they've gone wrong, partly by taking the criticism less personally. But you also become more willing to step forward, offer the olive branch, and try again to find a way to get along. Arguments can be averted, voice volumes controlled, tone amended, and communications restored. In terms of benefits in the workplace, finding time for moments of stillness improves your ability to prioritize tasks more efficiently, and it allows you to gain greater clarity of thought, strengthening your ability to focus and concentrate. Taking a few minutes every day to practice mindfulness meditation, even if you feel as though you don't have the time, can in fact extend time by giving you back more of each moment. Aside from time, it's quite normal to feel unable to sit when you meditate, even if you're practicing for just a few minutes. You might experience discomfort, perhaps a sense of boredom, or even start thinking about how you could be spending your time more productively. If such thoughts or feelings arise, rather than criticizing yourself, see if you can notice how your body reacts to being asked to be still. Label what you discover. It might be burning desire to scratch my leg, an aching lower back, sense of irritation about being here when I should be doing something else. Once you've labeled it, notice if the thoughts and sensations tend to fade away of their own accord, or whether in fact you need to adjust your posture or take a moment to scratch. Do whatever you need in order to be able to carry on with kindness to yourself. Another challenge that can arise when you start to meditate is that you may feel just simply unable to calm or slow the speed at which your thoughts arise. You might notice, for example, your thoughts zipping from one to another. And if this is your experience, which is really common, simply notice it and witness your mind running fast. It's estimated that the average person has approximately 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. So it's not surprising that you may feel there's little respite from the thinking, doing mind. Be reassured that as your practice develops, the speed at which your thoughts arise tends to slow down. But each experience will, of course, be different. So see if you can bring an attitude of acceptance and curiosity to how it is to meditate. A common misconception about mindfulness meditation is that it's complicated and long winded. In fact, it's neither. Even 30 seconds of a practice can make a difference to your ability to respond to the most stressful of situations. Taking a mindful pause of just 3 deep breaths, maybe before you enter a meeting, deliver a speech, or send an email, it can be capable of changing the course of your day. So, how do you gently build your mindfulness practice? When you start meditating, and in fact at any point thereafter, you might experience this sense of having a scattered mind or just simply feel unable to settle for very long. In order to build that practice, it's useful to aim to meditate for just a few minutes every day, at times that make sense for you. Bolster your formal meditation time with some of the daily mindfulness practices which you can find in this podcast. In order to keep going, you'll want to be able to incorporate mindfulness into your daily routine, which in my experience is one of the most difficult challenges. So it's about finding what works for you, starting small, and gently keeping going. If you stop, forget, or lose your way, you can simply begin again. There's no need to jump to the conclusion that it's not for you or that you can't even meditate. You can increase the length of time you practice as you feel able to sit for longer. Most of all, though, be gentle with yourself and remember that you don't have to like it in order to reap the benefits. So meditate even when you don't want to and just see what happens. Research shows that meditative benefits are cumulative and emerge over time. Whatever you do, try not to criticize yourself for not meditating. Instead, consider ways to get yourself back on track. This might involve finding a local group to join, reading an article on the subject, or maybe subscribing to a magazine on mindfulness to help support your practice. Consider whether it's something as well that you might share with friends, family, or colleagues, and whether this might provide some form of support. You might discover, as I did, that once you talk about your mindfulness with others, there are like-minded people in your community who are keen to share resources, websites, retreats, and ideas. But above all, remain open, curious, and inquisitive towards the development of your practice and the benefits you start to feel.